Good evening all. In this video I would like to provide you information on toning cranial nerve 9, also known as glossopharyngeal. This nerve is all sensory motor and parasympathetic. It originates at the base of the brainstem in medulla oblongata. Then it goes through the jugular foramen. It descends down the neck and ends in pharynx area. There are a few functions. Motor one innervates the stylopharyngeus muscle that help us elevate larynx, pharynx, dilate nasopharynx so we can swallow and breathe. The sensory fibers provide sensations such as taste, touch, and temperature of the back or posterior portion of the tongue, 2/3 of it, and also tonsils, back of the throat, and eustachian tube. Parasympathetic ones, they go to parotid glands and they allow organs to rest and produce saliva. So during rest and digest state of our autonomic nervous system, one of the things that happen is salivation. Other facts that are important to note about glossopharyngeal nerve, are the following. Regulating blood pressure. Glossopharyngeal nerve actually allows to send information from a carotid sinus in the body about blood pressure and oxygen levels. And this information goes to your brain stem. So essentially, it acts as a sensory for your blood pressure levels. The other fact is that this nerve is responsible for gag reflex, very well known to all of us, as well as what I've already mentioned, saliva production during rest and digest state of our nervous system. I now would like to mention that glossopharyngeal nerve forms a pharyngeal plexus when it merges with fibers of vagus cranial nerve 10, which we'll talk about in subsequent videos. And the branches of these two nerves intertwine, which allows them to work together to innervate muscles and sensory receptors of the throat, contributing to functions like swallowing and gag reflex. Essentially, they communicate with each other via small nerve fibers that join together near the pharynx. There is also a connection with the first cervical nerve, and significance of that is that first cervical nerve fibers hitchhike on glossopharyngeal nerve to reach target muscles, which innervate neck muscles like geniohyoid and thyrohyoid. And these are crucial for swallowing and tongue movement. But glossopharyngeal nerve's primary control is of the tongue muscle itself. So before we go into talking about how to tone this particular cranial nerve, I want to say that it's important to understand that connections of many different cranial nerves with vagus cranial nerve, which we'll talk about again later, that carries 80% of sensory information back to the brain, is important to note because such a modality like a safe and sound protocol, for example, it actually works with the hearing nerve, or to be more precise, it's a vestibular branch of the cranial nerve. So by stimulating that, the information actually is able to affect the whole nervous system. And with exercises such as singing, toning, your muscles in the throat, swallowing, vocal cord exercises also affect the vagus and affect the autonomic nervous system as well, to put you in a more relaxed rest and digest states. So without further ado, let's talk about toning of the glossopharyngeal nerve. So the motor toning you can do by gently touching back of your throat or roof of your mouth with your tongue, and notice how your body responds, what muscles get activated, perhaps in your neck, upper back, what sensations are produced. You might have swallowed by now, and this is something that often happens. You could also notice how easy or difficult it is for you to swallow, for example. You could move your tongue back and forth or side to side and see how you are able to perform these movements with ease or not. And start with the micro movements. See if you also tilt your head in any which way, or want to do some other movements. You can try also prolong sound like and notice how that feels as the sound travels down into your chest and what muscles get engaged. The other thing is, and I'm not going to be standing up, but you could try this standing up or, just tilting your head. It's like doing it backwards instead of moving the tongue, moving your neck and your head, and see what happens to the tongue. That's for the motor portion. And for sensory parasympathetic toning, you could start by just getting in touch and feeling what your back of your tongue feels like normally, and notice what comes up in terms of sensation. You could also taste something, taste different things to discern and try to discern different flavors. And then see how your body responds. You could experiment with foods that you normally like to eat, or even new ones, but just make sure it's safe for you. So this is something you could do for the sensory. For the parasympathetic, you could combine it with sensory and see when you eat certain foods, what foods make you salivate more, for example, and record it. So these are some of the things you could try, and they definitely test your taste receptors. You could also read Gretchen Rubin's book I mentioned before. She offers different kinds of ways to tone your glossopharyngeal. If you read the section on taste, how to live your life through sense of taste, you might discover some other interesting ways of living life through this particular sense. I hope you find this helpful, and before I forget, I want to mention it is helpful to use a diagram or review a diagram of this nerve so you know where it is and what it innervates, and you can find one in the post section on this channel, as well as anywhere on the web. You could search for the one you like more. So that's it for this video, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a good night.